In your packets, there are packets at the table. The last page of your packet is an evaluation. We'll just ask you before you leave today to make sure you share some thoughts and comments with us. What could we have done better? What else would you like to know from the Community Foundation? How else can we help you? Want you also to know these two funds that we're talking about today, the Community Enrichment Fund, that's a brand new fund, new grant opportunity at the Community Foundation. The Quail Valley Nonprofit Charities Collaboration Fund. We introduced that in partnership with Quail Valley Charities. We have Kevin Gibbon here this morning. We thank Kevin for his work with us on that and providing this opportunity to our local nonprofit community. We're reintroducing that grant application, that funding opportunity today. And then our unrestricted fund grant application that many of you have applied for, that we've run for the past 5 years, that RFP will be available sometime in February. And so I will send out an email to the distribution list advising you all of that RFP, the availability. That'll be up on our website if you have any questions. I don't think that we will do a briefing session on that since we have done that grant application before. But certainly if you have any questions once the RFP is available, you're more than welcome to call me. We're happy to take questions today. I would ask that if you have specific questions about your organization or about a program that you're interested in seeking funding for in any of these funds, let's save those questions until later. Give me a call afterwards. If there are general questions that you don't understand about the RFP or grant application, please, those will be the questions that we want to focus on today, because if you've got a question about it, I'm sure somebody else in the room also has a question about it. So let's start with, and you have copies of the RFP, which I also emailed to you, of the Community Enrichment Fund. I just want to walk through that document with you. It looks like this. It says Community Enrichment Fund. It should be the second section underneath. As I said, this is a new fund of the Community Foundation. It is a field of interest fund. And just for your information, what the donor did was they made a gift to the Community Foundation to establish this Community Enrichment Fund. The donors were interested in 3 focus areas. They were also interested in working with the Community Foundation for our knowledge and expertise in funding and grant making, and so are working with us to accept applications. Our grants committee will review those applications, and then we'll make recommendations to those fund holders as to what grants they would like to make out of this fund within these focus areas. Okay, so that's what a field of interest fund in this instance means. There are fund holders who are working with the Community Foundation to find the best possible solutions in the areas that interest them, and we'll go over what those areas are. So that basically says that in the introduction. The areas of interest are education, the environment, vulnerable individuals, families, and animals. That seems a little odd with the animals in there, but they are very interested in animal-related causes as well. And so they wanted to make sure that if animals were in a vulnerable position, that they would consider those opportunities as well. So the range of grant awards right there, $5,000 to $50,000. There's funding up to $200,000 available. That doesn't mean that we will fund all $200,000. If the best grants that meet these interest areas only total $100,000, and that's what we will recommend to the funders to fund, is $100,000. So there may be some residual, but there is up to $200,000 available. Grants will be awarded in April of this year, and you will have 1 year to expend those funds in the program that you have applied for. As normal, Indian River County residents only, maybe the beneficiaries, or dogs and cats of Indian River County are eligible for this program. Then let's look at the intent of funding halfway down the page. Programs and services that enrich the quality of life for all Indian River County residents and demonstrate a high degree of volunteer support. That means that volunteers are engaged in the process, they're engaged in the program, they are either volunteers, perhaps they are leading the effort, leading the program, leading the service, but it cannot be just staff-driven. These fund holders are very interested in ensuring that volunteers are an active part of the program. The energy and organizational capacity of being successful, that your organization is set up to be the best provider of this particular program or service, that your organization can provide the most effective and efficient solution because of your organizational capacity. And we would just like to know what is some of that, or what leads you to that conclusion. The ability to improve the quality of life enjoyed by a broad subsection. So subsection being children, youth, adults in those focus areas, but a broad piece of children. Okay, so not just a very targeted subset, but a larger population. But there is some width to it. Then we talk about sustainability and long-term impact. Now, it doesn't mean that the program has to go on forever. Okay, maybe it is a program and it provides a solution, and that solution has a long-term impact. So it's not that we don't want a program that has a really short shelf life. It's only going to last a year, it's one and done and over with. But that there is a long-term impact on the community because this program or service was either initiated or expanded. I'm just going to keep going unless I see hands raised, okay? The core focus areas. So this gets into a little bit more detail on the specific focus areas, gives you some additional ideas. Education may include but not limited to, again, trying to keep it broad as possible, to college scholarships, after-school youth development programs, life enrichment, or job training. Life enrichment meaning providing opportunities to those low-income populations, children, youth, adult, dogs, cats, providing them with opportunities that they would not have had this program of service not been available. Again, enriching that quality of life. The environment may include but not limited to increasing experience with and appreciation of nature, preserving natural resources through effective stewardship processes. So these fund holders are very interested in the environment, but particularly practices to help people be better stewards of our local environment. Vulnerable individuals and families. Assisting those who are unable independently to meet their own needs due to barriers such as financial instability, circumstances beyond their control, meaning family issues. Maybe there's something going on in the family as a child. There's something going on in the family that they're not able to access services because of some family issues. That there's a population of children who meet that need. And as you see, needs related to animals may also be included in that focus area. The next page of the RFP is very similar to the unrestricted fund guidelines. So this is pretty much a direct pickup, so I'll move through this fairly quickly. Proposal characteristics. We want to look at well-tested models that can be scaled up or expanded. So this is a program that there is data evidence showing the success of the program, and you're looking to scale it up or to expand it to help additional people because you've identified a growing need. Or new pilot programs that, if successful, can be grown and replicated. So again, new programs or expansion of current successful data-driven programs. Collaborative work that bring public and private partners together with nonprofits. Leadership and knowledge of the sector, going back to that organizational capacity, that you understand the issue, you understand the environment in which the issue is happening, and that your organization is best positioned to provide this program of service to address this need. Clearly identified target audiences and justification for that focus. Why is this target audience who you're focusing on? What is the data? What is the background that is leading you, showing you that this is a concern, a need, an issue for this particular area? Obviously, clear benchmarks for measuring success, measurable outcomes. Types of support, program development, program expansion, we talked about that. Capital grants, let me make this a little more clear. If there is a program that you are submitting a grant for, and in order for that program or that service to happen, you need a particular capital item. That is fine, that will be covered, that can be submitted as part of this grant application. If you're running a major capital campaign to build a building, that is not part of this grant application, okay? So capital items are fine to support a program that you are applying for. Major capital building campaigns, not for this RFP, okay? In a few minutes, Lenora Ritchie, chairman of our grants committee, is going to review the grant application form. We have modified that form from last year to more closely align with this RFP. And that is already available on our website. You have a copy of it here. She'll be reviewing that with you. That is the only grant application form that we will accept. Very important, this is a direct request from our grants committee, the next bullet. When completing the application, avoid including the same information in different sections of the narrative. Be thorough, yet strive for brevity. More is not necessarily better, particularly more of the same thing, just put in a different section of the application. Because then the grants committee begins to gloss over and that application goes to the side. Don't make them work for the information. Nonprofits must have an active profile on our Nonprofit Knowledge Center. You must be a 501c3 public charity in order to receive a grant from the Community Foundation, and you must be on our Nonprofit Knowledge Center. You must have a profile. That profile must have been updated within 30 days prior to the grant being due. So when you turn in your grant application, Michelle will then go to our Nonprofit Knowledge Center and will double check that you have gone into your profile and updated it, because we all get busy. I'm sure you haven't updated it in the past 30 days. And so there is something that has changed or modified or been added to your program, your organization, that ought to be on that profile. So within 30 days, we need to make sure that that profile is the most current. We will do some type of webinar with our chief professional officers to help other organizations who are looking to go through a grant process, kind of a lessons learned session. We would ask that you participate in that should you receive the grant. Those grant recipients will be required to submit a 6-month interim report and then a 12-month final report. And that will include outcome measures. When the grants committee gets together on page 3, these 5 bullets are the key indicators of what they are looking for when they are reviewing the grant application. They want to make sure there's clarity of project description and activities regarding steps to be taken to achieve the desired outcomes. So what are the outcomes, and then how are you going to achieve those outcomes? Very clearly delineated tactics and strategies that are going to get you to those outcomes. Again, don't make them work for that. Achievable timeline that corresponds with key activities. We want to make sure that you have thought out, here's what our goal is, and here is the time frame in which we're going to use to get there. Meaningful benchmarks and indicators of success. How along the way are you going to know that you are either on target or you're not on target, and you're going to be able to make adjustments as needed? Innovative and effective strategy for potential systems change. So if this program is a new program and it's going to change the way your organization is doing this piece of its business, how are you going to know that? What's the strategy? And again, organizational capacity to implement the project. Do you have the staff, do you have the volunteer leadership, and the management skills needed to effectively implement this program? How do we know that? Applications for this grant application are due February the 10th, 3 o'clock in our office. Again, it's the grant application that we're using today that you will be submitting by February the 10th. We've changed it, no email, no electronic communications. Lenora will go over the what you're going to give to us on February the 10th. And then we will award the grants no later than the week of April the 7th. So you'll turn everything in on February the 10th, and then we will need about 2 months to go through the process of evaluation. That is the Community Enrichment Fund, RFP. Any general questions about it?
Will there be any site visits?
There could be site visits, yes. We always have time for site visits. Yes, Neil?
Carrie, on the measurable outcomes, must those measurable outcomes be within that 1 year time period, or could they extend?
I think
past
there's,
it?
yeah, right. Good question. Yes, Kelly?
You
Oh, the back of the room?
you mentioned the capacity for and having adequate staffing. If you're looking to expand the program and need additional staff in order to do that, can you include staff for that? Okay.
Yep. Other? Yeah, sure, go ahead.
You've been referring to the grants committee. How many people are on that grants?
Lenore's going to go over that information with you. Yep. Yes?